Hello, 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 YouTube. Today we're going to be discussing people signs, and you'll see what I mean in a little bit. But first off, to start off, this is a sign for people. People. This is a sign for person. Person. And this is people. More than one person. If you want, you can have two people. You can sign two people, person. But to go ahead, we will do some discussing of people. Most of these are job. So to get started, I like teaching the signs for people because I call them two-in-one signs, right? You learn one sign, but you learn two different words, and you'll see what I mean. So this sign for preach, right? You make an F. If you remember, like the movie or the story of Robin Hood, you remember they had a person, and he was called Friar Tuck, and so F is for friar, and that's the reason we sign F for preach, right? So this is a sign for preach. So if you wanna make it a person, normally you'll sign like this at the end. So you could do preacher, right? But we have a shortcut in ASL, and it lets us sign it quickly. So the sign is preacher. Preacher. And the next one that we'll go over, we have this is a sign for teach. So teach, and this is teacher, right? So you only have to do it once. Teach and teacher. So I like this because you have the two signs, but you learn one sign and then you know both teach and teacher. Next down you have student. So a student is a learner, right? Student. S-T-U, student. So learner. Right? And the shortcut for this sign is student, right? You don't have to sign student. You can shortcut it. Student. Student. So next down we have the sign for cook, right? This is to cook, the verb, cook, and then you have the cook, right? The cook. Next down we have science. This is a sign for science. It's kind of with like an A-shaped science. Science. And then you have scientist. This is a sign for scientist. And while we're thinking of scientists, if you sign it with a C, this is chemistry, right? So this is science. This is chemistry. So we have chemist. B's is for biology. So you have biologist, right? And then the one that's different, this is a sign for electric or battery or physics. So this would be a physicist. So next up, this is a sign for engineer, right? To engineer, the verb engineering. And then this would be the engineer, the person. Right? And I've seen it with both hands moving, but normally just one, engineer. So our next sign is cop with a C, and then this hand shape kind of shows the shape of the badge. It's for police officer or sheriff. So next we have the sign for doctor. Doctor. Some people will go to sign doctor, DR. Doctor. But you can sign doctor, and other people will sign with an M, or I'm thinking it's medical doctor with an M. And also in the same way you can think of nurse with an N, nurse. So the other signs, some people will sign V for veterinarian. Other people will just sign like animal doctor, and that's most like common with the deaf I know. So a word that kind of that sounds like like veterinarian is veteran, right? So you have like most of the time people will sign like Army with A's, like some people do Navy with N's. M for military. Marines, you sign Marine because they have their collars that go up. They're like collars, right? So they have like Marine has the sign with like, can you take your M and put it on your throat because they have their full color. So you have like Army, Navy, your Air Force, right? You can sign like Air Force. Some people will like sign like Air Force Army. It just shows that they mean like the Air Force. Or you could be like an Army, like a pilot, and this is a sign for pilot, like like an airplane or pilot. And then but veterans generally signed with a V. So to keep going, you have the sign for like some people wanted to see, and it's funny. You're like fortune teller, right? So you have they have their crystal ball and they're looking into it. So you have your fortune teller, right? You kind of gotta get it with the little, and you have to be careful with that sign to be sure that you're showing like you mean the crystal ball and not another like a ball like shape. So the next sign down is mechanic, right? So this is the sign for like mechanic. Some people do this, some people do this. It really doesn't matter. And this is like wrench also, but normally I don't see the suffix, or like I call this like the ER suffix. I normally don't see that with the sign for mechanic. You could. Another job people wanted to know was like a race car driver, right? So you just race. This is a sign for race. This is a sign for drive, right? Drive's generally a little bigger, right? This is a sign for car. Car's a little smaller. Drive's bigger. So you have a race car driver. Another sign that people wanted to know was like firefighter, right? Because they have like their hats have the flat part in the front for firefighter. Other people wanted to see the sign for like manager, like it's like manager or controller, and this is like supervisor. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave comments. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.